and we were playing this little improv game where we were given two characters at random, put in the center of a circle, and we had to make a scene. And I was given Merida from Brave, one of the two Pixar movies I've never seen to this day. And my partner was given Bruno Mars. And the entire scene was just one line I said when I looked at my partner in the eye, playing Bruno Mars, and I was like, if you had a chance to be a good singer, would you?
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Javoy. This is episode 3 of our podcast. I'm Ryan, and today I'm joined by Graydon.
Snuffleupagus.
Matthew.
Hey, what's up?
Trace.
That's me.
And Jake. Summer is starting to come to an end. There's only about a month left until school starts back up for some of us. And so I'd like to just kind of go around and hear what everyone's favorite part of the summer has been so far. For me, it has been being able to work with my professor and also getting paid pretty good for it. You know, being able to working on campus is definitely a new experience, especially when this is the first summer that I haven't really been home as much. But being able to work in the subject that I want to pursue after college is definitely something that I find enjoyable. Matthew, you want to go next?
Yeah, I've just been pretty much sleeping and playing video games like a stand-up citizen. I've been looking for a job, but the whole calling them to tell them to hire me part it's fairly new to me, and it's kind of annoying.
Just walk in.
Yeah.
It's a very complicated process to dial up to 10 numbers into your phone. And talk and say, hey,
Have you ever seen those TikToks where it's this guy who goes into a Subway and just goes in the back and takes bread?
Yeah, I have seen those, yeah.
That's what you need to do.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. I'll go forcibly work at Subway.
Just walk into the place. Be like, hire me.
No. Don't even say hire me. Just go in the back, look for some gloves and a hat, and then just stand behind the counter and just start making sandwiches.
But then they won't know to pay me.
Yeah.
Well, they will when they see you, and they're like, all right, here's your paycheck. They'll just give you some random guy's paycheck, and they won't remember what your name is.
2 paychecks,
that
3
works.
people.
No, you gotta walk in and be like, when do I start?
And that's when you follow it up by, right now, this is my job now. I work here.
I am the manager.
No, you don't say when do I start. You say I start now. Give money.
No, you need to do what. Have any of you watched King of Queens?
No.
Occasionally.
It's that Kevin James show. I forget if it happened at the beginning of the show or if it was like a flashback episode or something. But at the beginning of the timeline, at least, he tells his wife that he got a job like forever ago. Doesn't want to tell her he lied, so he just starts going with his friend to UPS and just hangs out there for a full workday. And eventually he starts seeing the people needing extra hands. He's like, all right, I'll help you. And he ends up working in a full shift and then says, all right, be here tomorrow. And then paycheck stuff comes around and they're like, what's your name? Oh, I've been working here for like forever. I would tell you what his name was, but I don't know.
Kevin James.
Yes, Kevin. My name is Kevin James. I've been working at the UPS store for about a month now, but you have not paid me even. And then they just sort of hire him.
Nice.
They figure out that he's been just showing up and working without actually being an employee. They're like, hey, you already know how to do stuff now, so go ahead.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Graydon, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Well, nothing interesting. I went to the beach. That was pretty cool. Rode in a helicopter. Got a little bit of sunburn. But other
Did you
than
jump
that,
out of the helicopter?
No.
You should have.
I didn't even want to get in the helicopter, honestly. It was spoopy.
That's the fun part.
But,
You know, the one for sure thing about skydiving is that 100% of skydivers make it to the ground.
Not according to a recently arrested celebrity.
From Drake and Josh.
Yeah.
Isn't that like a war crime though? Whenever you shoot the pilots out of the air while they're ejecting,
What?
that's like a war crime.
But they would still hit the ground.
Yeah, 100%
Maybe
of
not all of
skydivers
them.
hit the ground.
I don't think they shoot them hard enough.
I don't know.
Shoot him into orbit.
You know what I'm talking about though, right? It's like a war crime or something. Because they'd be like, "Oh, my plane's going down. I have to eject," and then they'd eject, and the pilots would like turn around and then light up the parachuting pilot. Parachuting and defense.
No, I can't
pilot.
say that my knowledge on war crimes is extensive enough to prove
But
you
you've committed
wrong.
so many.
I know everything
Shh,
I
we
need to
can't
know
mention
about
that.
war crimes. I know that war crimes are just a load of baloney.
I know about war crimes. I played Modern Warfare 2.
But I think the entire concept of war crimes is dumb. If your entire purpose is to just kill each other until your boss says you don't have to anymore, why does it matter how you do it?
Because it's inhumane.
It's a principle.
Trace, what is your favorite part about the summer?
What a
One-
segue.
Yeah, wonderful
All war
segue.
crimes he's committed.
Let's see. I worked a lot. That's
Uh-huh.
90% of the summer. Going to the beach in like 2 days, 3 days, one of those numbers. So that's exciting.
Nice.
I went to Kings Island at one point. That was really fun. It was so hot for the first half that we had to take breaks every 10 minutes, and then it was thundering and made all the rides close the second half, so we left and got wet.
Yeah. I was there for that.
That was a fun trip. I turned 21. That's pretty cool. I
You're
got
an adult.
drunk. I'm adult phase 2 now, with more responsibilities and things I can do legally.
Trace got the second half of the adult update. The rest of us are still waiting.
I can.
Not legally.
That was the question.
And not very well either.
I do fine.
You did a 3-point turn in my car in a very not populated driveway, and you backed up the wrong way.
That's because your controls confuse me. I've never driven your car.
Yeah, turn right and turn left.
This steering
Your
wheel's not
controls
like the other
confuse me.
steering wheels I've used.
No, that.
Why
was
are there
because
2 pedals? Where's
I
the
thought I
third one?
I thought I straightened the wheel enough, so I started turning right, but it was so far left. I still kept going left, and I was like, "Oh no!"
You get in the manual car for the first time, like, wait, what the fuck? There's 3 pedals now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
stop,
only use
slow,
the
and
third
go.
one because I always come in clutch.
All right, Jake. What about you?
Well, I had a very exciting summer. I rescued New York City a couple times because I have a lot of superpowers and stuff. I'm basically Superman if he also went to the gym.
He probably does go to the gym.
Like a
Yeah.
Superman gym though. Like he
Yeah.
goes to the gym, but it's just for show.
Yeah, like Superman goes into the gym, and I'm the guy that gets kicked out of his gym for being for like dropping the weights and going and stuff.
So you're
Superman goes
so
to
they
the
have a
gym, but like
one-on-one.
he's Superman, so he doesn't want to like show off or anything. So he just gets the 35s and does nothing, basically.
I just figured he'd lift barbells off people, like a superhero.
Superman works out by flying into the sun.
It's just a casual
true.
workout.
Doesn't even break a sweat.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing all summer, just rescuing people.
Flying
Make
into the
people
sun.
safe.
Usually,
At least 2.
Yeah, at least 2.
Are you one of them?
No, not yet.
He's never in danger.
All right. Well, like I mentioned before, school is getting ready to start back up for some of us. And you know what I still have a hard time believing? We graduated over 2 years ago. It has been over 2 years since high school.
That is correct.
Feels like 2 months, but simultaneously 20 years.
I thought you were going to say
I
that you
know.
couldn't believe that France violated the World Trade Organization and got away with it, but
Well, that was my second choice. However, I thought we would talk a little bit about high school today. Share some of our favorite moments from high school, talk about some of the clubs we were in, and just share our general thoughts on high school. Now that we're well out of being high schoolers. So, one of my all-time favorite moments from high school, I guess this counts as like several moments, because this was like a weekly thing for a year. Do you all remember those dance-offs that happened during the lunch period?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Vaguely.
Yeah.
sure. With that one kid that
Right,
got
so-
arrested.
That doesn't do
Yeah,
it.
it was two kids who decided to do a dance-off every day after they finished their lunch. And it went on for several weeks. It got to the point that it grabbed our principal's attention. And so, come the next pep rally, he decides that it is a very good idea to get both of them to do a dance off for the entire school to see. I took a recording of it. It lasted for 14 minutes. And
And that was 13 minutes and 30 seconds long.
I'm pretty sure the majority of this one kid's dancing was just spinning in a circle on the ground.
Wasn't there one kid that just did a backflip every now and then?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Every high
No,
school
there was
has
this other kid who joined in, like in the middle of it.
Didn't he fall?
Yeah, it was like a 2v1 at one point. And the entire school was just loving it. And honestly, that is my favorite part about American school systems is the spirit weeks and the absurd events that come with it.
Maybe that's why you were class president and I was just the guy who his friend was class president. Because that was a very painful experience for me having to watch that. And Spirit Week was very boring for me.
Oh yeah, I was class president at that point, but I had nothing to do with that.
Oh yeah,
I
it was.
wish I was the guy that had the great idea to put them in the pep rally.
Honestly, that was your number one act as president.
What?
Putting those kids in a pep rally.
But I didn't. I wish I was.
Yeah, he said he wasn't the guy that did that.
Oh,
No,
we can
that,
cut that out.
that was all on our.
We'll fix it in post.
I feel like school council is very similar to like just straight up government. Just people are just like, I really liked when the president that did that, and the president's just like, I just sat there.
I remember when you guys ran for council that they wanted like all of us, not the school, but like Trace and Ryan, because they were the only ones that were in school. But they wanted all of us to run for it and just like fill all the positions. So it was just us five.
And then
Just
none of
as
us ran
school
except
council.
for those two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only
And I
those two.
still
ran.
think you all should have.
I mostly didn't run because I didn't know when it happened.
I didn't-
You guys just said, "Hey, we should all run," and then next thing I thought about it was like, "Hey, you guys are elected again." When did that happen?
That's the thing, though. I don't remember the election either, and I still got it.
Yeah.
Well, you see, that was the problem with freshman year. Freshman year was like the only year that I didn't run for class president, and that was because I had no idea it existed up until after the election.
Yeah.
Didn't we just only have a class president freshman year and nobody else
Yeah,
ran?
we only had a class
Yeah, and she
president.
wasn't even
no one
president
else.
for the whole year.
Yeah.
She got in a fight and then got expelled.
Oh,
She got
she got kicked out of office.
exonerated.
Yeah.
So I
She
had some pretty
definitely
big
still went to our
shoes.
school all 4 years.
No, exonerated.
Exonerated is a good word.
It's not.
If you're being excused, not excused.
She was impeached.
I thought exonerated
honor
was
and-
bad.
Exonerated
No.
basically means like they said, "You're fine."
It's like it's
Exonerated does not have honor.
It's like what Teddy Roosevelt should have had, but he was like, "We're in war, therefore I will be crippled and president."
It's to absolve from blame or fault from a wrongdoing.
Okay. For the recording, please say I'm an idiot.
Okay, Trace is an idiot.
That's not what I said to say. So anyway,
Just click
She was
Trace saying that he's an
impeached.
idiot.
and we didn't have any council for the rest of freshman year.
Mhm.
Because she was the
Yeah,
only
so-
member.
Sophomore year,
I
did.
had some pretty big shoes to fill.
I thought sophomore year did.
Sophomore year did not happen.
Oh, I think it was sophomore year that she was the president.
No.
freshman
No,
year.
that was freshman year.
He was president.
Mm.
I
Ryan
was
our
class president
for
for the remaining
years.
3 years.
and I should have been vice president for the remaining 3 years, but
You should have,
I don't know how to sing.
or play guitar.
I can play guitar. I can just only play 3 songs.
Oh, was that the year that the guitar guy, vice president, or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, I did a
Yeah.
whole.
Junior year?
No, it was freshman or not sophomore year. I did a whole speech about how I feel like I'm right for the position and how I want to like do right with the little power I'd actually get. And then right after me comes Singing Boy singing a song where 90% of the lyrics was "I'm running for vice president and your vote is what I need," and everybody threw their panties and was like, "I'm voting."
Even
for
the
that
men
guy."
threw their panties.
Yeah,
They
some of
fell
them,
pennies.
some of them ran off to buy panties, like a 12-pack of panties at Walmart, and just threw them at him. It was like,
Yeah.
"You got my vote."
Yeah, and if you're listening, you know who you are. Great singer, great guitarist, but that's
Great
not
guy in
yeah.
general.
Yeah,
I
but that's
respect-
that's
yeah.
not the answer to everything.
I
We
respect,
respect
you.
you. We
but
love you.
ouch.
Yeah, very nice guy, but like,
Also, I'm still slightly salty about the thing that happened. You also know what that is.
I know what that is.
he's a very nice guy. I just like if the
I-
president, like the actual president, was running for office and just went around to like every city in America, just like singing a song from his band, you know.
He'd forget half the words.
Well, our current president, perhaps.
He'd forget he was singing. He would
They have
just,
teleprompters for that. Anyways, you get my point.
yeah, we need to not go too deep into that.
No politics.
I don't want to hear a song from either of our last 2 presidents.
No,
What's the song with both of them?
I don't think 80-year-old men can sing. Okay, at
What?
least not most of them.
How old is Ozzy Osbourne?
He's 74 or 5, I think.
That's probably wrong. You got to take into account cocaine aging, so he's probably like 130 or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're right. He is the one exception.
I feel like Ronald Reagan probably sang. He was an actor.
Ozzy Osbourne is 72.
Hey, actors cannot sing because I can act, and I can't sing worth shit.
But a lot of professional actors could at least do some musical
You
stuff.
saying I'm not a professional?
You and me and everyone
Every
else.
single
knows
line.
that you-
I act like I like you every single day, and you're still falling for it.
I act like you're funny every day.
Yeah, that's why you're laughing.
And you're still falling for it.
I act like I'm happy
Um,
some days.
And you're still falling for it.
Anyways,
No, I'm not.
now that we're still talking about Trace being vice president and Ryan being president, I'd like to mention our senior prank.
Can we really call it a senior prank anymore?
Oh, it was a prank.
Yeah,
Let me.
before we describe it, I would like to state for the record, freshman year, I called that we would do something like this for our senior prank. Because it was basically an extra skip day. And I said, you know what? With how well we're participating in things, we're just going to find an excuse to have a second senior skip day.
Yeah, and a lot of our
It worked out
class,
phenomenally.
You're welcome.
a lot of our class still looks back and was like, "That wasn't a prank. It was a prank." And let me explain why. Our original plan was to just fill teachers' parking lots with sand. But knowing our luck, after all the senior pranks that have come and gone, we'd be the one that get in trouble for vandalism. So we kept toning it down notches, got permission to vandalize. And then by that point, it wasn't really a prank on them. Or was it? So we got a bunch of sand, dumped it around like the flagpole in front of every American high school. And we had a beach day where all the seniors were allowed to just hang out in the sand. There's like a little swimming pool. There were people playing in the grass with like frisbees and stuff. It was a great day. People don't think of it as a prank as much as it was a second skip day.
Everybody
But-
got sunburned.
We tricked the faculty into giving us the second skip day. And there go. It's a prank.
We even had the principal rent inflatables for us.
That wasn't even our idea. He was
Yeah.
just like, have it.
Yeah.
I'd just like to go over the bit leading up to the senior prank, right? So when we got the senior prank, we were planning it in advance. I wasn't on the council, but I was part of the planning because I was friends with Ryan and Trace, and we were just trying to figure it out. And we had started, like, a senior fund where all the seniors in our high school were just supposed to donate a little bit. It was like $3 or something, and we'd have way more than enough money to do what we wanted to do. But instead of that happening, it just kept getting closer and closer to the prank, and we had like $50. I think it was actually $150, but 100 of them were my dollars because I had lost my wallet, got a new wallet, all that stuff. A couple weeks go by, I find my wallet, it has $100 in it. I'm just like, whatever. I didn't even know I had it. I'll just donate it. So it was like $150, and 100 of it was from me, and that was not nearly enough for what we needed. And so it just keeps getting closer and closer to our prank, and everyone around school is going, "Oh, Ryan and Trace are ruining our senior prank because they're the president and vice president. Oh, they suck so much, blah, blah, blah." Just basically talking trash about Ryan and Trace for being lame and not having a good senior prank. And I was like, well, screw those losers. So when it come down, like when we were going to do the senior prank, I drove into another state for 3.5 hours, got $412 worth of sand with my own personal money, and we used the $100 that I spent to rent. I had a buddy that ran a cattle farm, and he brought fresh beef to make burgers, and I paid him to be there, right? And
yeah, Graydon is the real MVP of the senior prank.
so I paid like over $500 for the senior prank, right? And I put 3,500 pounds of sand in the back of a truck that could not carry 3,500 pounds of sand. So I was on the way back. It took me 6 hours to get back from the store because I was going 35 on the interstate. It was awful.
Yeah.
Anyways,
He got back real quick. He got back to his house with all that sand, and he just texted me and said, "Matt, we desperately need to borrow your dad's truck."
It was awful. It was so bad driving. Anyways, the thing that made me the most mad about it was whenever we got there, like, and we were actually participating in the senior prank, our principal took time out of the day to like stop the senior prank and be like, "I'd like to thank my cattle farm friend for coming here and donating this beef and donating his time to feed everybody."
Yeah, I remember.
I was like, I literally yelled out because there was no recognition for me spending $500 and basically making the senior prank happen. And I didn't care about that. I cared that other people were getting recognition and I wasn't. I was like, he didn't donate any of this. I paid him to bring it and paid him to be here. But I mean, you do you, I guess. And I had called out in the middle of it. I'm like, he didn't donate it. I paid him to be here. But nobody cared. And I'm still really mad about it. Not going to lie. Yeah, I paid $500 for our senior prank to happen because everybody was talking bad about Trace and Ryan. Fun fact.
Also, another point I want to bring up was after the prank, we were supposed to get like a good portion of the senior class to help, come help us clean up all the sand, and it was not that. It was like me, Trace, Matthew. Was it all of us? Did we all pick up the
No,
sand?
I did not participate because I paid for everything, got the sand, brought it out, and set it up, so I just didn't clean up.
Yeah, you were justifiably exempt from that. But what we essentially did, we shoveled sand into the back of, was it your truck, Matthew?
Yeah, it was my truck.
Yeah, we shoveled sand into the back of Matthew's truck, drove over to the side of the high school, and just dumped the sand right there.
Yeah. After like 2 trips of driving all around the complicated parking lot to get to the side, I was just like, screw this, and just drove over the curb in between the 2 parking lots.
We were seniors. It was our last 2 weeks. We didn't care.
Yeah, we were already done with classes and everything. We were just like, what are they going to do, fire us?
Let it be.
We didn't clean up the sand the way they wanted us to. Get out. It's like, okay, you clean it up.
No, wait, come back.
I don't need a high school diploma anyway.
What are you gonna do with it? Get a job?
Oof.
Matt will no longer be participating if he is dead.
So what was your favorite memory, Jake?
Graduating and never coming back.
Never going back.
Well, what about during high school?
Coming back implies you're there.
I said what I meant, meant what I said. Now, actually, I was in jazz band with Ryan, and our jazz band was actually really good at jazz banding. So we got invited to this event they were hosting in Louisville, where we got to perform in front of a lot of like big shot music people and stuff.
It was the it was like the music association for our state.
Yeah, it was like a state level. It wasn't a competition. The competition was really just getting invited there because they only invite
It
was like two.
was more so like a teachers conference.
Yeah, it was stuff like that. But how many were there? There's at least one other. It was like two or
I'd
three,
say like
including
2 or
us.
3. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all they invite every year, and you're not even allowed to be in back-to-back years. So it was very competitive just to get invited, and we got there, and we played a lot of stuff, and I was on the drum kit for one song that I still remember how to play, where I had a heart attack every time because it was very fast, and I had to hit a lot of things with not a lot of limbs.
Wouldn't
Was
it
that,
just be so much more helpful if humans had a third arm?
I would love to have a third arm for playing drums.
Not even for playing drums.
Use
I
your
worked
foot.
construction for 2 months, and the amount of times I thought if I had a third arm, I could be so much more efficient and probably not have twisted my ankle.
Well, the problem is, where would the arm come from?
Straight out of your chest.
That was one option I was thinking of, but
Mhm.
that would make it hard to like hold things right in front of you.
No, it wouldn't. Just
No.
put your arm straight down.
I have an alternative solution.
What?
Have like, so you know how your arms are small because you have two of them and they're weak and imperfect, right? Just have one massive arm coming out of in between your shoulder blades that goes directly upwards.
It's just really,
Right.
it's like a scorpion.
Yeah, like it can
Tail
go
thing.
back or it can bend and like go over your head.
It's like tail
And then
man.
you can carry
for
things
right
in
here.
both your arms, and then you can carry things like behind your back with your other arm, right? Or if you have something really heavy, you can have all three arms holding it up above your head, you know,
Oh,
so
so you-
nothing falls on your head.
So you don't want it to be an extra long one that can reach in front of you.
No.
It would just be. It would create like a triangle.
No, like
reach.
you know how you like carry firewood and you like cup your arms in front of your chest?
Yeah.
It'd be like directly in the middle of your back, so you could then do that on your back.
And it would just be a slightly bigger one because it has to do as much.
Yes,
stuff.
because it's a single arm instead of a pair of arms. Because
Right.
everybody knows a pair of things are less strong than a single thing at all times, with no exceptions.
Just like a pair of kings.
Right. Anyway, I'd like to go back to jazz in Louisville because me and Jake witnessed something very exotic while in
It
the
was-
city.
It was traumatizing. You want to tell it? Or you want me to?
You can tell it.
All right, you can fill in any holes that I missed. So, we were there much longer than our actual performance time because we only played like 4 songs, something like that.
It was like 3.
Yeah. So we were staying in the hotel that the event was being hosted at. We stayed there a few days, I think, at least a night. So we had to get food at some point. So it was right before our performance, and it was also the same time that the other jazz band that was there was eating their lunch. So there was a few people that we did not know that were in this food court style area that was sort of connected to the hotel. And we saw one guy from the other band deservedly sitting alone, at least for most of his lunch, because he had a furry tail poking out of his butt while he was wearing clothes.
He also had the like cat ear headphones.
Yes, he had the cat ear things on his head too.
I was intrigued.
What instrument did he play?
The skin flute.
No.
No, the fur flute.
You know, if I had to guess, I would say flute.
That's the Pied Piper, and you didn't even know it.
The one that made all the ogres dance and Check the River After.
I don't know how to explain it, but just from his
The third Shrek movie.
physique, I think he was either a clarinet or a trumpet player.
I know exactly what you mean.
Rude.
We can't. I don't. Can you explain that, Ryan?
I'm offended.
No.
I played trumpet the 2 years that I did do band.
No, it doesn't count if it was in middle
That
school.
was in middle school.
People's bodies are still developing. Once you're in high school, you can almost tell by how their body is built what instrument they play.
Actually,
the
to be
twins.
fair, I played the baritone.
Why don't you
I only
tell
played the trumpet for a
all of
year.
us what instrument we play based off our body?
Okay.
Grace would probably also play clarinet, or I'm getting French horn vibes from you. What do you think, Ryan? Trace?
Yeah, I don't really see him as like clarinet.
Thank you.
I could see him as like, the baritone sax.
I'll
I
accept
see him
sax.
as a saxophone player.
Well,
Do me.
nobody said guitar.
Graydon, you're somewhere in the low brass, like probably a trombone.
Yeah,
Baritone.
or baritone. Yeah, I could see it baritone too.
No, I see him playing
Yeah.
the angle.
Yeah, definitely a little brass stuff. You don't look like a trumpet player anymore.
Matthew is tuba.
Matthew is definitely tuba. No, I want to see Matthew playing a
He plays the oboe.
Piccolo.
oboe.
Dodge.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge an oboe.
What about bassoon? You think Matt would look
Is that
like
what
a
I'm thinking
bassoon
of?
player?
What was the-
Basically anything big.
What was the one?
I'm big.
What was the one that we only had one of in middle school that the one girl played? That's what I was trying to think of.
Oboe.
That was the oboe.
What,
That was an
Right.
oboe. Yeah.
It was when
It
we
was
were
like-
in 7th grade and the 8th grader played it. The one woodwind.
No, they were in our grade.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
it was. She played a bassoon in high school. It was a big thing.
There's probably that then. What's the oboe?
It's like a bassoon, but a little bit smaller.
or a clarinet, a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe it.
Okay.
It's big enough where it has to have a stand.
Matthew would play the grand piano.
I can play the grand piano.
But for reference, Jake was percussion,
Yes.
and then I was baritone and trombone for jazz band.
I also, my mouth vaguely remembers how to play brass.
Yeah, you did. You played trumpet for like, you tried to learn trumpet for like that 2-month section.
Towards the end of senior year, we ran out of band stuff. It was after our last performance, because the last performance of band is the last thing that happens in band, with other than just packing, putting music away and stuff. So during that time, I had a lot of. So I told our band director, who I was total bros with, if he's listening, I miss you.
Big J.
Yeah. I told him, you know what? I think learning the trumpet would be kind of neat. Can I do that in my off time? Like, sure. And then I accidentally played a bunch of hard notes, and I could only play the hard notes. Because the higher it went in pitch, supposedly the harder it was. But where I was trying to overcorrect from learning how to play trumpet or trombone, they're slightly different. I could only play really high notes, and it kind of hurt my ears.
Do you know what's fun, I think, about the band? I didn't participate in band in high school, only middle school. But that's why I bring this up, is because our band director for the high school was married to the lady who was the band director for the middle school
At the time that we were in middle school.
at the time that we were in middle
Yeah.
school. But you're not anymore?
No, like freshman
No,
or sophomore
she-
year, the guy that was helping the high school band director became the middle school.
What did she do?
She's doing something else. I think she's just like a music teacher at like one of the elementary schools.
Yeah,
Mm.
she was still teaching music, of some kind, to some people in the district.
Someplace. There is one very crucial topic that I think we need to focus on that happened after spring break of our senior year.
Oh, man.
Matt, you
Yeah.
want to talk about the great bathroom closing of 2019?
The great bathroom closing of 2019. Here we go. So here's a little backstory. Imagine you're sitting there in a computer lab in your average public high school. You hear your president, you hear your principal come over the intercom and say, during the morning announcements, from now until the end of the school year, during classes, all of the boys' bathrooms will be locked, and you can only go there with administrative permission. And everybody's like, what? What happened? And then after he didn't give us any explanation, the next day rolls by, and he's like, so, there was tens of thousands of dollars worth of vandalism done to the boys' bathroom, and we don't know who did it. So, until we figure out, nobody's allowed to use the bathroom.
Even though they had security cameras pointed everywhere, including right at the door to the bathroom.
Yeah, we got like a multi-million-dollar grant to build this high school, so they had like military-grade security cameras that can record video and audio pointed everywhere in the school.
But no metal detectors.
But no metal detectors. That'll come
When
into
we
play.
say when we say thousands of dollars of vandalism, we mean someone managed to get into the boys' bathroom and rip off one of the urinals.
And
Yeah.
the reason it was so expensive is because all of the water at our high school was very fancy. It had like geothermal heating and all kinds of neat stuff, and the water was difficult to manage. So completely busting one of the pipes and taking off the urinal was just a whole mess. It was very bad.
It was a large mess.
They turned that urinal into a gravel.
Yeah, so that happened. So
On top of that, right, as the principal's like, you guys can't go to the bathroom, the gym bathrooms don't have doors. So somebody goes into the gym bathroom, gets into the light switch, and starts ripping wires out of the gym bathroom.
I didn't know about that part.
I did
There's
not know
additional
about that.
electrical damages.
Yeah, so that led to a lot of memes about the school decisions being made
Trending.
and a trending hashtag on Twitter. It was very funny.
90% of the memes came from us.
Some of the
Yes,
memes
yeah.
we will post on our Twitter.
We
we worked
essentially
very hard.
carried the whole meme movement.
It was the first time I felt popular in my entire high school. It's like truly popular, not just like people know me. Everybody knew me. I was that weird freak. But they actually
With all the
enjoyed.
really cool friends.
Yeah, okay. But they enjoyed something that we created, and that was the first time I actually felt like, wow, people like us. It got to the point where people would come up to us, the creators of the memes, and be like, hey, did you see this meme? I put on my superhero cape, talked in a deep voice. I was like, that was me.
You're welcome, random citizen.
I've saved the day again. Enjoy pissing in the woods.
I'm surprised nobody just took to defecating in the hallways.
I may have lightly, very directly suggested to a group of guys that we all need to just pee on the edge of the door to the bathroom.
Yeah, mark it. If it's our territory, they have to let us in.
We peed as close to where we were supposed to as possible. It's not our fault that you can't get the doors unlocked fast enough.
Well, you can't just go through the door. Citizen issues.
I still have the entire folder of bathroom memes that we made, and there has to be at least 100 memes in here.
Awesome.
Yeah, we kept going for high scores. There was 3 or 4 of us in one math class, and we were bored at that point in the year. We ran out of stuff to do. So we just spent an entire class period going, all right, I'm up to 23. What have you done?
Yeah, kind of same here, but yearbook. 'Cause that was an entire period. The yearbook was already out. I just sat there
Yep.
for like a quarter of the year in that class.
The moral of the story is do not give anyone in this group free time because we will use it to make
And abuse it.
very funny things that have no actual use.
Either
Yeah.
that or rip off urinals.
Hey, we didn't do that.
We just made it funny.
But luckily, I was really good friends with one of the teachers at that time. So I just went to his class whenever I needed to use the bathroom and said, hey, give me your keys. And I got to use the teacher's bathroom.
Yeah, that band director that I was total bros with, and the choir director, because I was also in choir that year. Both of them, I could just say, hey, can you unlock the bathroom for me real quick? Hey, just take the keys.
I didn't even need to be close to a teacher. I just went pee at school like 5 times my entire high school career.
Same.
I just went
It's
in
just-
between classes like everybody else did.
Well,
Well, in between classes, it looked like someone threw a smoke bomb in there all the time.
True.
very true.
You could not see where your stuff was.
Because there was always vapor of some kind.
At least one that was being passed around.
Probably not 100% water.
Yeah.
Because vaping is lame.
Yeah. Greg, you want to talk about soccer for 30 minutes again?
No, not particularly. I was just gonna say sub stories.
Go for it.
You're allowed one.
There's this. I'm only allowed one.
That'll take 30 minutes.
Okay. There's this one kid that went to another school, and like he was not that good at the game. He was okay, when we played soccer, but he would tweet out before he played our team. He would tweet at our coach like, "Oh, I can't wait to beat your team," and blah 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 blah. And he was not that good. I don't even think he ever beat us our junior or senior year. I'm pretty sure he lost every game. Anyways, we were playing a game, me and Jake were, because me and Jake both played defense in soccer. And there was one play where that kid that we all hated, because he was big talk and couldn't play, had come down the sideline towards us. And I believe Jake was on the outside at that point, and I was on the inside of the defensive line. So Jake was playing defense, and he gets the ball away from the kid, right? So the ball's going away from Jake and the kid, but the kid and Jake are both running at the ball. I'm in the middle, so I go to kick the ball, and as I go to kick the ball, Jake slaps him in the back and pushes him forward, and I kick him directly in the kneecap. And when I say directly in the kneecap, I don't mean I kicked him in the knee. I mean I only caught his kneecap, and his kneecap ended up on the side of his leg, and he got carried off the field, and I don't think he played anymore that year.
Yeah, we were the cause of very, very many, at least doctor, if not emergency room visits as a team.
You can tell
Yeah,
another
But it's
story.
fine.
Yay.
I can tell another one. Okay, well, there was this one game that we played. It was a JV game, and there was a kid on the other team who I'm pretty sure should not have been playing JV. Like I'm like 90% sure he was actually a junior and was just playing because they didn't have enough JV players. Because JV is for freshmen and sophomores. So I was a sophomore at this point. And he was playing forward, I was playing defense as normal. And he was coming down the sideline, and he kicks the ball way too far out in front of him. So I go to get it, and he's getting there at the same time as me. So I go for a slide tackle, a completely legal slide tackle, mind you. I hit the ball first. I didn't hit him. But as I hit the ball, he also hit the ball. So he went flying and landed on his wrist and got up, and his wrist was the wrong way around. And he just kind of looked down and then looked at his coach and then just started walking off the field. And I was like, oh, well, that happened.
All right. So this one, this was either middle school or very early high school. Since Graydon got to tell one that I wasn't involved in, this one does not involve Graydon. I am not a very tall person, but I'm not short.
He's an average tall person.
Yes, I'm an average tall person.
Me, Jake, and Trace are all the same height.
Yes.
And I
But-
tower 4 inches above all of them.
Yes. But this victim of mine, smart mouthy, and I did not like that. Figured, hear me, whether he has the ball or not, it's going to be worth the card. So he got close to me, and I just sort of picked him up like you would a little kid, like with your hands under their arm stuff. I picked him up and threw him. Like bag of sand, I guess.
Bag of $400 sand.
Yep.
That reminds me of a story. One time, me and Graydon were on an FFA trip in Indianapolis. And on our way back, we stopped at an In-N-Out, I think it was, or Jack in the Box.
I don't
one is
remember
here.
this.
Whichever one is close. Or whichever one's not in California. And we were just all in line, and one of our buddies was in front of me because he cut in front of me from the back of the line, and he was like 90 pounds at most. So I just picked him up, walked him to the back of the line, and then went and got spun.
Remember this? I don't remember this.
It was pretty funny. Everybody laughed.
Trace, do you have any stories of very severely injured and or throwing someone?
I have plenty. I'll go again.
Yeah, we can just go back to that.
I wasn't allowed to do sport or anything fun. There was not many injuries in drama club, and that's 90% of what I did during school.
Did someone ever
He
switch
injured
a
me.
knife for a real knife like they do in the movies?
The drama club, not football. We didn't have money for prop knives or real knives.
Football.
He did injure me when he threw Barbie dolls at me.
That was a different lifetime. Each grade was a different lifetime for me.
That's like 10 parallel universes ago, Ryan.
My bad. We're focusing on high school. Speaking of high school, we all did clubs throughout high school. I know Trace has mentioned drama club. Stories do you have to share from there?
So, our drama club was cursed. And by cursed, I mean nobody was interested enough to actually do any drama. They showed up for the fun acting games where you practice improv and all that. And then we were like, all right, time to get serious. We're a few weeks into the school year. Let's start deciding what we're going to do at the end of the year. What are we going to do? And they're like, oh, I forgot. I don't want to exist here. And they would just leave. So freshman, sophomore, and senior year all kind of went downhill. But junior and senior year is when I became the president of drama club. And we actually got some stuff kind of done. We did some bits in the talent show. We didn't do our own productions, but we at least got to do something. And I would say junior year, we had a fairly successful talent show piece where we did part of Heathers. That's what it's called, Heathers. And I got to play the huge role of nerd in background, and I had one singing line, and that's how I know I cannot sing.
So I take it was just the club, since it was the drama club without any drama.
It
Yeah.
was just the club.
Basically, it was the club where you went and clubbed.
You had the bacon, you had the ham, and you had the turkey, but you didn't have the
Tomato.
There was one fun thing that happened, not in a production because we didn't do those, but Bruno Mars, if you're somehow listening, I'd like to apologize in advance. We were playing a game. This was my sophomore year because I wasn't president yet. And we were playing this little improv game where we were given two characters at random, put in the center of a circle, and we had to make a scene. And I was given Merida from Brave, one of the two Pixar movies I've never seen to this day. And my partner was given Bruno Mars. And the entire scene was just one line I said when I looked at my partner in the eye, playing Bruno Mars, and I was like, if you had a chance to be a good singer, would you? And another quick story to shout out one of our teachers I don't think any of us have actually had in class. One of the teachers that was actually considered a doctor. Like, we had two teachers considered doctors.
because they had doctorates.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
She was in a little side room.
And taught high school.
Yeah, she was in a little side room who was sponsoring drama club at the time for a short period while we found an actual sponsor, which we ended up not doing for the entire year. So she was in a little side room, and we were doing one of improv games, and I was out of the room trying to prepare something for our supposed to be end of year production. So I missed this, but they were doing a little skit, and I guess one of the characters was injured. So there's your injury story. It was just fake. But one of the characters was injured, and the other one, like, is there a doctor anywhere around? And lo and behold, out steps our doctor of a teacher. It was like, did somebody call for a doctor?
She was a doctor in biology, so she probably could have performed minor first aid if needed.
Good analysis.
I don't think you need a doctorate for minor first aid. I'm
I
pretty
mean-
sure you can just do like an hour-long class.
Without
Yeah.
having any first aid training.
I know how to put a band-aid on.
Good job.
I know what ibuprofen is.
I know the blood is supposed to stay in the body.
I
Sometimes.
recently learned how to
Most.
pronounce acetaminophen.
You
First
still
of all-
So that's how you
Dude,
pronounce it.
don't?
No.
First of all, I'm pretty sure I could take your appendix out if you didn't care about the outcome. So I'm not impressed that somebody can do minor first aid.
Like, I can take out any of your organs if you don't want to be alive after.
That's like saying I can as long as you only require I can make noise.
It's like,
I can't make
what?
noise out of woodwinds.
Oh, your appendix is going to rupture? Let me get that for you. Whoops, got your stomach.
Can't rupture your appendix if I take it out.
So, we have a friend. I'll be nice and not specify which friend. They're not here right now, but if they listen, they know who they are, and I am calling you out right now.
Let's call him Craig.
Yeah, Craig. That SOB Craig. He told us the story about this teacher.
This was like, sorry, I was just going to clarify. This is very early in high school. We're all like very pubescent. That's all.
that too. He told us this story about the teacher wearing a blouse that was not strapped all the way. And when she bent over to pick something up, her bosom fell out. That's PG, right?
Yeah, sure.
Her bosom fell out,
Mhm.
and only
Testicles.
only he in the entire classroom, full of young people,
Men and women.
men and women. A few of the men I know would not miss this if it were actually to happen.
Not just the men, but the women and children too.
Yeah, that too. He was somehow the only one that saw this, swore up and down it happened, and we had no way to disprove him. Until
Because none of us were just going to go up to our teacher and say, hey, did your boobies fall out?
one of us did.
Seriously.
This is the story of a man who had nothing to lose.
And everything to lose.
5 years later.
As I've mentioned in a previous episode, I work at Walmart at the service desk. One day, over a year after graduation, up comes said teacher to return a few, dozen pairs of bras. And while I was doing the return, I looked around to my left, to my right, to my up and my low. There is nobody around.
I didn't even say up
So I was like, this is the perfect opportunity. And I was like, I have a question to disprove one of my friends, and it might get a little personal. To which he responded, you're returning my bras, it's fine. So I asked about this story and if it actually happened. And long story short, it did not happen. Our friend is a liar, and I will never forgive him.
Yeah, Craig.
Yeah, Craig.
Screw you, Craig.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. You can watch the rest of our stuff at places that have names.
YouTube and Spotify.
Yeah, those names. And you can rewatch this one if you want to.
A few dozen times.
Show your parents,
Yeah, and
especially
your
if they're
dog.
old.
You can also find us on Facebook, Patreon, Reddit, TikTok, Twitter, sometimes Instagram, hopefully, maybe.
Ask your 9-year-old cousin. He might know us. Or that weird uncle. He might know us.
Show your friends. Show your parents. Show your grandparents. Show your grandparents' uncles.
Show your fish. Show your dog.
Show your dog.
but
Show your cat.
do not show your cat.
Oh.
Show that guy that's like your neighbor, but not your neighbor because he doesn't actually live next to you. He's like 3 or 4 houses down and you don't actually talk to him. But you think, hey, maybe he might like this podcast. So I'm going to go up and talk to him and be like, hey, have you seen this podcast? Show that guy.
Show the kid down the street that thinks he's good at hiding the fact he eats his boogers.
Show the kid down the street that doesn't hide the fact he eats his booger.
Show the boogers.
Show your local Walmart staff.
We're in
Show your local news station.
Pretty much, if you can think of somebody, show them.
If it's got eyes, it can watch. If it's got ears, it can listen. And if it's got a nose, that won't really help it very much.
If you're a guy that's really good at answering questions, I'm just saying your forehead probably doesn't have a tattoo on it yet, and we have a logo.
Okay, bye.
Peace out.
Girl Scout.
Adios.
Mwah.
Screw you, Craig.